Hey there, John Chorba here from ReallyEasyGuitarLessons.com, and in this video lesson, I'm going to show you how to play Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers. So this is a full tutorial. This is exactly what was on the recording, but it's not that hard. If you are on the newer side of things, this is completely doable. Even though it's got some jazzy chords and we got to do some finger picking, it really isn't all that hard. So let's jump in and get started. All right, first let me just go ahead and demonstrate what this is going to sound like. I have Bill Withers' isolated vocal, and I'm going to play guitar along with it. Check it out. Apologies for the quick edit and for the change in wardrobe, and if there's any difference in the video quality here. I'm shooting this on a different day because I had uploaded this video to YouTube and it got blocked. And I think it got blocked because I used Bill Withers' isolated vocal. And so I'm not going to sing it because my voice is not good. It's not good today, but it's not good in general. I'm just going to use the Guitar Pro MIDI saxophone as a stand-in for the vocal. So here we go. Let me demonstrate what it's going to sound like with nonsensical MIDI instead of the isolated vocal, because apparently Bill Withers and his estate don't want me to teach this with his original recording. Here we go. All right, let's just take a look at what chords we're going to use first. All right, so the first one is going to be an A minor 7. And the way I do that is I use my middle finger on the E string of the 5th fret, and then I let it touch the A string. Okay, so if it's touching the A string and the A string's muted, that's fine. And then I use my ring finger to bar the D and the G string of the 5th fret. So everything's on the 5th fret. And with my right hand, I'm using my thumb on the E string, my index finger on the D string, and my middle finger on the G string. And so when I'm playing, I'm clawing those 3 strings at the same time. Now this could be a little tricky for beginners, so if you want to change this up, you could also voice that A minor 7 with your first finger on the E string and your middle and your ring fingers on those chords right there. Okay, so whether you do it this way or you do it that way, I don't care. Then the next one is the first instance of an E minor 7. This is really easy. You don't have to do anything with your fretting hand. You're literally just hitting the open E, the D, and the G string at the same time. Then the third chord is G7, which you're going to use your first finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, your second finger on the 3rd fret of the D string, and your middle finger on the 4th fret of the G string. Again, clawing those 3 strings at the same time, okay? And then the way you play it, okay, you're gonna do the E string and then the D and the G string, but when you play the D and the G string, you don't want the notes to ring out. So here's what you want to be careful of, right? When you're playing it, you don't want all the notes to ring together like that. So I'm alternating between the E string and the D and the G string. Bum, 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 bum. But you don't want to hold that pressure in. I take the pressure out of the string after I played those D and G strings so that it dies. It's called staccato. It's a short and stabby note. So you do that A minor 7 twice. Bum, 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 bum. Then you go to E minor 7. You do that once. And then, again, staccato on that D and G string, but this time I'm not using my fretting hand to mute it. I'm using my picking hand to just catch those strings after I play them to stop them from vibrating. So twice on A minor 7, then once on E minor 7, and then once on G7, and then back to A minor 7 once, but this time you let it ring, okay? So twice on A minor 7 with staccato, once on E minor 7 with staccato, once on G7 with staccato, and then once on A minor 7, let it ring. Boom, dum, boom, dum, boom, bum, boom, bum, boom, bum. terrible. Okay? And that is the start of your verse progression. You do that 2 times. And then you go to the next version of E minor 7, which now we're going to go to the 7th fret of the A string with your first finger, the 7th fret of the G string with your middle finger, and the 8th fret of the B string with your ring finger. Okay, still thumb is playing the A now, index is playing the G, and the middle is playing the B. And we're doing alternating A string, G and B string with staccato. So I play that A string, and then I play the G and the B string, and then I kill the sound. And you repeat that 4 times. And then you take that same shape and just slide it down 2 frets. So now your index is on 5, your middle is on 6, your middle's on 5 as well, and your index is on 5, your middle is on 5, and your ring is on 6. That's what I'm trying to say. It's the same shape, and now it's a D minor 7, and you play that 4 times. Okay, so we have E minor 7 4 times, D minor 7 4 times, and then you go back to your main riff. And that's the whole progression. That really is the whole song. So to recap, you start on A minor 7 twice, E minor 7 once, G7 once, A minor 7, let it ring. You do that again. Then you move up to the next E minor 7 on the A string, do it 4 times, move down, 4 times there, back to your main riff, and that's one iteration of the progression. So looking at the tab here, here's the first instance of that riff. Here's the second one, and then you go to the E minor 7, you go to the D minor 7, and then you go back to your main riff, and then that concludes the first verse. Second verse, exactly the same as the first. You have your riff again, jump up to E minor 7, D minor 7, riff. And then he does the bridge where he's just singing, I know, I know, I know. And you're just resting for 4 measures, 6 measures rather. And then you go back to your main riff, and then you have a third verse, which is the same as the first 2. And then you have your outro, which you are just hanging on your main riff. You do it twice. On the 3rd time, you just let it ring. And that's the whole song. So some quick practice tips. Just moving between those chords, and getting your fingers in the right spot. You can just sit down and just practice some of those changes. Like just trying to change between them. But you do A minor 7, E minor 7, G7, back to A minor 7, figure out how you want to play it. Sometimes I feel like, it's a little bit easier maybe if you do that, because when you go down to this chord, your fingers are already where they need to be. But, I don't know, I'm just so used to playing minor 7 chords like this. It's no big big deal for me to play it like that. And notice, too, that when I'm playing it, because you're doing this alternate low string, high string combination, when I'm coming from the G7 to the A minor 7, I don't have to get all of my fingers down right away. As long as I get the E string, I have enough time to put that ring finger down on the D and the G. Okay, so like with all songs, you want to just break things down into small chunks, get it in your ear, understand what it's supposed to sound like, and then work through it at the slowest speed that you can, so that you fully get your head around it and you can play it without making any major mistakes. All right, that's it for this video lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.